A World Cup rule designed to protect players is now at the center of a growing controversy, and one of the biggest defenders in football has had enough. Virgil van Dijk has spoken out against FIFA's new hydration break policy after the Netherlands' opening World Cup match against Japan ended in a dramatic 2-2 draw. But this wasn't just frustration after a tough result. Van Dijk's issue was bigger than one match, bigger than one team, and bigger than one hot afternoon. Because in his eyes, the rule that was supposed to help players may now be disrupting the rhythm of the game and even changing the way football feels for fans watching around the world. So what exactly happened? Why is FIFA under pressure? And why did Van Dijk believe the rule should not have been applied in this match? Let's break it down. At the 2026 World Cup, FIFA has introduced mandatory hydration breaks. These are 3-minute pauses, one in the middle of each half, designed to protect player welfare during matches played in the high temperatures of North America. On paper, the idea is simple. Give players a chance to cool down, take on fluids, and reduce the physical risk of playing in extreme heat. But after the Netherlands' first group stage match against Japan, Van Dijk made it clear that he was not convinced by how the rule is being used. The match was played in Dallas, inside a temperature-controlled stadium. According to the report, conditions inside the venue were around 20 degrees Celsius. In other words, this was not a match being played under brutal sunshine or extreme heat. And that is exactly where Van Dijk's frustration began. Speaking after the 2-2 draw, the Liverpool defender questioned why hydration breaks were being used automatically, instead of being judged match by match. He said he had been watching many of the World Cup games and admitted the breaks were interesting, but not necessarily in a good way. His biggest concern was not just about the players standing around. It was about the entire flow of the match. Every time play stopped, the rhythm was broken. The tempo dropped. The energy changed. And for fans watching on television, especially neutral viewers, Van Dijk felt it was not a great experience. He did not say hydration breaks should never happen. In fact, he made the opposite point. If it is truly hot, then yes, they make sense. But his argument was that FIFA should look at each game separately, instead of forcing the same rule into every situation. And that comment hit the heart of the debate. Because football has always been built around two halves, 90 minutes, with one halftime interval. But critics now argue that these mandatory breaks are making matches feel like they have 4 quarters. That may sound like a small change, but in a World Cup, where momentum can decide everything, a 3-minute pause can be huge. A team under pressure gets time to regroup. A team in control loses its rhythm. Coaches can deliver instructions. Players can reset emotionally and tactically. And suddenly, a rule created for safety starts to feel like a rule that could influence the game itself. But the controversy does not stop with the players. There is also a broadcasting issue, and this is where the story becomes even more explosive. In the UK, broadcasters have not been showing adverts during these hydration breaks, but that is not the case everywhere. During the USA's clash with Paraguay, the fourth official was reportedly seen waiting for the FIFA broadcast liaison to give the signal before the match could restart. Why? Because commercials were still running. That image raised a serious question. Are these breaks only about player welfare, or are they also becoming a television window? FIFA has issued strict guidelines to broadcasters. The feed is supposed to return at least 30 seconds before play resumes. But Fox Sports in the United States has already fallen foul of those guidelines. During the second half of the match between Mexico and South Korea, the broadcast reportedly did not return until 10 seconds after play had already restarted. That means some viewers missed live action because the coverage came back late. FIFA is not expected to punish Fox, with the governing body said to have accepted the explanation. But the damage to the debate had already been done. For critics, this is exactly the fear. Once football starts building regular commercial-style breaks into the game, even for a good reason, the sport begins to look different. And that is why Van Dijk's comments matter. He is not just complaining about one pause in one game. He is raising a wider concern about how the World Cup is being managed, how rules are being applied, and whether football's natural rhythm is being protected. When a player of his level says the rules should be judged game by game, people listen. Especially when the match in question took place indoors, in controlled conditions, at a temperature that many would consider comfortable for elite sport. The key question now is simple. Should FIFA continue with a blanket rule for every match? Or should hydration breaks only be used when the conditions truly demand them? For now, FIFA's rule remains in place. 3-minute hydration breaks will continue to appear in the middle of each half as part of the tournament's player welfare measures. But after Van Dijk's comments, the pressure is growing. Players are questioning the timing. Critics are questioning the structure. Fans are questioning the viewing experience. And broadcasters are now part of the controversy too. What started as a safety measure has become one of the most debated rule changes of the World Cup. And as the tournament moves forward, every hydration break will now be watched differently. Not just as a pause for water, but as a symbol of a bigger fight over what modern football should become. Is this smart player protection? Or is FIFA slowly changing the rhythm of the world's biggest sport? One thing is clear. Virgil van Dijk has opened the debate, and FIFA may not be able to ignore it for long.